Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining the stream. Welcome, Bravo, Rock, Swift, JG, Click, Hunter, T, Bill, I'm Fierce. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. We have the SPY rocketing up right into market open. We have the Dow up a good amount. AMC pulled back just a little bit. Let us know what stocks you're watching today, and we will cover them. But Tom, how about we start with these Dow futures right here? They're up a nice amount, of around 0.6%, which is great to see. They're getting really close to that 3,400 or 34,500 level. What else do we have? We have AMC kind of pulling back this morning, but it's not really tanking off. It's really holding its ground right around like $18.50. What is that? Right at like the 100 SMA?
Yeah, that's the 100 SMA there, and it's really holding that this morning. So hopefully it can pop back up. If it falls below that, like and below the 18 support, I'd be pretty worried about it. But man, I love how it's holding this level, and maybe it'll start popping it open if we see this. And if AMC can break $20, I think that would be an awesome day trade, and I think that's going to pop on a lot of people's scanners if that hits.
Absolutely. So I know there's a lot of hype in it anyways. Let's get right into these comments. So we have Bravo saying, looks like a green day on the Dow. Definitely. It's really running up and it looks really good this morning. I saw Boeing explode this morning, Tom. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I mean, Boeing, let's go look at it. Boeing has been running for the past few days, and wow, yeah, I did not expect it to have this pre-market move yet today, but wow, it really broke above that high of a few days ago at like 243, 244 level and just exploded. I can't believe what this is doing. And on the daily level, man, Boeing has just went straight up off of this bottom 220 support, just going straight up. Now, what are we sitting at today? Like what was the high? 248.90. So pretty much 249. So yeah, right around 250. Be a little careful of 250, but man, this is a huge run up in pre-market, and I'm not sure it'll continue when the market opens. But wow, it's just a huge pre-market gap.
Sounds good. So welcome Long, welcome Shelby, V, and Justin. Thank you guys so much for joining. We have Rock talking about AMC, so I know we just covered that. Bravo saying cyclical. Again, the biggest lagger is oil. I think it's going to bounce back pretty soon. So oil's been pretty interesting lately. And I feel like, along with oil, I feel like the airlines and cruise lines have a lot of potential over the next couple weeks. I know that American Airlines is actually gapping up a decent amount this morning. Nothing crazy. Let's see. We have Marine saying, good morning, Krusty Crew. Bravo. When you guys gonna hit 1,000 subscribers? Maybe if you do a video cam show, that will get the subs higher. I know we're trying to hit 1,000. Help us out by hitting the like button and maybe sharing the stream. You know, we're working hard and we're gonna keep making improvements, like adding like the video cam and all that stuff. So thank you guys so much for joining. Let's see. With the next comments, we have. Let's see. We have Shelby saying good morning, AMC. So Tom, we have the market open. How's AMC doing?
Yeah, let's go see. AMC at open is starting to really pop up. I mean, it will at least it has a green candle on the 1 minute. Anything can go on from now, but this is just the 1 minute chart here. It was trying to pop up initially on this candle, but overall today it's kind of down actually. Like we said, falling off of that $20 resistance, kind of hovering around 1850 this morning, hitting 18 at the lows, and it is kind of trying to pop right now on the 1 minute back to the upside, which is awesome. And hopefully we can come back up to this $20 resistance and possibly pass above it. Like I said earlier, I just think that's going to be an amazing level. $20. If we break that, it's game on for AMC.
Alrighty, and then did you see Redfin yesterday? I've been watching this one for a little bit and selling puts on it, but it really popped up yesterday, and like on the daily, it looks great. I still like it at these levels for like maybe like a long-term hold, but they're really popping up in the short term, which is great to see too.
Yeah, I mean, Redfin is awesome. I've been loving it, especially on its recovery back up. I know that you've been a really, I guess you've really liked Redfin and Enphase both, and those two stocks have really been exploding. And I know that you've been talking about both of those off of those supports down there, and they've really been going back up. And even Enphase looks like it's trying to pop back up. And if I think if Enphase can start to break above 145 pretty well, it would finally break that resistance that it's been kind of struggling to break above over the past few days, and it might start to run up as well. And also like it might follow up like with Redfin here. Redfin has like a long way back to the upside. If they could break $60, I mean, I could see them going all the way back up to the $70 resistance.
Indeed. And then we have Hunter saying Beyond is still going. Is it? Wow.
Oh,
Oh
another
my.
gap up.
Wow. That is crazy. We were talking about this one last week, and then even like earlier in the week, we were talking about this one like with calls. Wow.
This is crazy, man. All the way up to 138. Wow. I mean, yeah, we were talking about this, Mike, all the way when it was down here consolidating at like 107. Even if I would have never expected a move this big, maybe up to like 125, but man, I would have never thought it would be up around 140 right now. This is insane. And if this goes to show that I think a lot of these other stocks might start to recover similarly to what BYND is doing off of these supports, coming back to the upside, and it's just really exploding. And I would definitely, like I said, expect maybe some more plays like this to happen. Like maybe that'll happen with Palantir eventually, or Zoom or Peloton. I think a lot of these stocks are really due to kind of still recover back. And even though they've been recovering, I think there's still a lot of room back, Mike. I mean, Peloton still has highs of like 171, PLTR still has highs of 45, even Enphase, which has been going up a lot lately, has highs all the way up at 229. So there's still a ton of room to the upside on some of these.
Definitely. And then we have Long saying good morning. Check out Fubo and Boeing. So let's check out Fubo. Fubo is doing good this morning. It's holding its ground. It's up around 1%, which is good to see. I think it looks good overall. It had a great day yesterday, so it's kind of like pulling back a little bit. And the setup kind of reminds me with DraftKings the other day. It had an amazing day on, it had an amazing day on May 24th. And then the next day, it just kind of like pulled back. It didn't necessarily like tank, but at the same time, it didn't really explode. But it just had such a big day yesterday with Fubo, and the setup looks pretty similar as like DraftKings from the other day.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, DraftKings and those are always moving pretty similar to each other, not necessarily in the percentage that they move, but if one has a green day, the other has a green day. And it looks pretty good, actually. DraftKings is kind of going down today, though it opened. So that worries me. I know that they're not the same stock, but it just worries me. It looks like DraftKings might be double topping here at $50, or at least it's struggling to break 50. I think we're going to need to see some pretty good momentum to finally pass back above $50. It looks like that's posing as a good resistance.
Alrighty, and then let's see what else we have moving. This morning we have Airbnb popping up, a big green candle at open. That's good to see. It's been so choppy lately, so it's finally it's always good to start to see some green. In general, we have a decent amount of stocks selling off. It looks like the market's coming down a little bit. Then we have Ed saying, good morning, hope you are blessed. Any tips for day trading options, volume, expiration, etc.? So great question, and there's a lot of different answers to that, and it's a very hard question to answer. But in general, when you're day trading options, you always want to make sure that the options are liquid. That is probably like the number one criteria, because no matter how good the setup is, if the options aren't liquid, you're going to have a really hard time profiting with that trade. So a liquid option normally is like, if you have like 500 contracts traded in the day, that's usually a good sign. And then like open interest, normally if that's greater than 1,000, that's normally a good sign too. But that's just a general rule of thumb. It doesn't, it's not always like that. You just want to make sure like there's a lot of buyers and sellers with that specific chain. I'm trying to think of any other tips.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tips with it. And I think that, like Mike said, the biggest thing is getting the good quality contract. Like, obviously, you have to guess the movement right, or you have to get that right first. Like, for example, QQQ hit off support at 332. So, of course, like if you'd have to buy on support, you still have to get the movement correct, no matter what happens in the end. But it really takes a good quality option as well. And like he said, like a lot of it, I think a big thing I see with new traders is they always go for like the cheapest option possible. And, it's almost better to go for some of the more expensive ones, because the more expensive ones are normally safer. They're not always safer. Like, for example, GameStop's options could go flying up and be costing $1,000 an option or something like that at the money, or even more. but that you have to really like understand and really look at the pricing of the option to understand what makes that option well priced compared to another one. And you have to kind of understand like the volatility, the implied volatility, and kind of like the price of the stock. Like you have to understand like GameStop here, that's a lot more volatile, is going to be a lot higher priced in general than a stock like Walmart. So it's just like Mike said, it's really about the pricing, I think.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Like one thing I really like that Tom said is a lot of newer traders, they always go for like the cheaper option. Like they'll see, like let's say they want to put $500 in a trade. You know, a lot of times I see new people saying, all right, I'm just gonna get 20 of these $50 options instead of like one $500 option, and that's just a big mistake because like the delta values will be less on the out of the money option, and it's just kind of like a problem like that. So great question, and it's definitely a complex question to answer. Then we have Matthew saying US 30 CFD analysis. So let's pull up the Dow, Tom. DIA. How is the Dow doing? It's doing pretty well right now. It's up around 0.75%, and it's actually at its high of day. So that's great to see. How's Boeing doing? Let's see. Oh, wow. Boeing's rocketing.
Yeah, the Dow and Boeing are both doing great. I mean, Boeing's coming all the way up to 250, popping above that. On this 1 minute chart, Boeing really hit off that 100 SMA at open and just went flying up. I actually really like this with Boeing. It looks like a pretty good trade today, especially if it can break this 250 level and keep flying up above it. Looks like it is having some chop here, though, so watch out, but it looks like it's trying to break right now. I wonder if we can get it, and there we go. We're breaking above it to 250.45. I mean, I've been loving Boeing off of this little double bottom it had, and off of that support around 220. It's just been a great play, and honestly, it's been a pretty good recovery ever since COVID really destroyed Boeing and made it go all the way down to 100 per share. And I know Mike, like when Boeing first fell, Mike sniped some shares at $100 and was able to sell them at 180 just a few days later, and that was an awesome snipe, Mike.
Yeah, that was crazy. Then we have Click saying, same story for NVIDIA, good earnings and falling. And, that's kind of been what we've been seeing for the past couple months now. Like we had Amazon report crazy earnings. It tanked off. Apple, Microsoft, AMD, the same thing, So like we talked about yesterday, Tom, like we were talking about NVIDIA yesterday and how like it rose so much, so close to its all-time high. Like even if it reported great earnings, like, we talked about how we thought it would be tough for it to continue, but overall, that's what we've been seeing a lot lately. But they're a solid company, and it seems like they're just they continue to impress every earnings release.
Yeah, they do, and it's just one of those situations that there's also the chip shortage going on and stuff. And I'm gonna have to look into their earnings and see exactly what they were talking about with their outlooks and stuff, because I think that chip shortage is going to be pretty interesting to read about. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's hitting off resistance at the same time as this earnings came out too. So honestly, there's just a lot of factors to make this go down, I think. But if it does go down in the short term, keep in mind that this split is coming up all the way on July 20th. So there's still a lot of time, for example, for this stock to fall down and maybe consolidate and then still have a nice run up into that split. So I think we're just going to have to see what happens heading in maybe into this dividend and stuff on June 9th, and just kind of see like where the market ends up going, because we're even seeing like the SPY and the QQQ around their all-time highs as well. And who knows, they might start falling off like some of these tech stocks are.
True that. And then we have Jesse saying, like me some ACTC for a few week hold. I know it's not your higher volume stock, but it has some good news next month that could bring it back up. Looks like it broke the trend up today. So ACTC. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, this is a pretty crazy looking stock, honestly. It looks pretty good though off of some of these supports. I don't know what all this red stuff is here on my chart with ACTC, but man, yeah, it's a pretty good setup, I think, off support. I like it off of the $15 level, and I think that it could keep going up. It looks like it has a lot of momentum, and I think it's just one of those growth stocks that is just kind of recovering up with the overall growth sector, kind of like Palantir, Zoom, and like Peloton, like we always talk about. I just feel like that it's just thrown into that group, and it's just recovering well off of that support. And I don't think it's a terrible stock though, by any means. I mean, it definitely was low priced and had a good catalyst to make it go up, but if as long as it can hold its ground, it might be pretty good for the longer term. Given what I don't know what they do fundamentally. Definitely look into it, but it looks like a pretty good setup, anyways.
All right, and then we have Bravo saying, so guys, a few weeks ago you posted a question about which index is going to finish higher this year, the S&P, Dow Jones, or NASDAQ. Which one which one do you guys think will be the best? So Tom, I'll let you answer this one first.
Personally, I think that the SPY will be the best. Honestly, the SPY is going to be, I think, more of a mixture of the two. They have tech stocks, they have value stocks, they have growth stocks. Personally, the SPY is my favorite. Not it might not do the best, but to me, I think it's the safer option of all the other ones. Personally, I have a feeling that the Dow will do the worst of the three, just given that how well some of these value stocks like Home Depot, Target and Walmart and even more, have been going up, Caterpillar, over the past couple of years, that I think that once those start to come down and people transition more into the growth stocks and the tech stocks, we'll see more of like QQQ going up along with the SPY. But overall, I would think that the SPY could go up more than the QQQ, but it just depends. I don't know exactly how many of these growth type of stocks are in the QQQ, like Palantir, Zoom, and others. I'm not sure how many are in there, but I would think that the SPY would be the best in my opinion.
I was going to say the SPY too. I'm actually pulling up the Dow's like holdings, you can say right now, and I'll list a couple off. Like, keep in mind there's only like 30 stocks in the Dow. So we have Apple, Microsoft, Intel, Visa, IBM, JP Morgan, Home Depot, Boeing, Walmart, Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola, Caterpillar, stuff like that. So I'm not going to list them all out, but there's not too many of those like growth stocks that you were talking about, Tom. I mean, I guess you can say like, Visa, Apple, Microsoft, CRM, and Intel. So that's about it though, So I'm with you with the SPY. I think that, it's more of a mixture of the two. And I just feel like with everything going on, I feel like definitely the SPY. Then we have, what do we have moving this morning? Let me pull up my scanners. We have VIX tanking, which is good. FDX is popping. Let's check it out. FedEx is doing very good, actually. It's up around 1.5%, and it's getting pretty close to that all-time high.
Yeah, look at that daily chart. FedEx is actually looking pretty good. Like it might have a run up and retest that over the next couple days. I definitely would not be surprised. The setup definitely looks pretty good. Let's see what it can do today. If it can pass above like 315.29, I think it'd be pretty good. But this is more of a slow moving stock, so I would kind of expect it to go up later in the week rather than just keep exploding up today. We normally don't see it have, huge like 3 to 5% days or anything like that. But if we go look at that daily chart, I mean, FedEx looks fantastic. Been going up with UPS over the past couple of years, and it's a great stock to look at right now. And I think that the setup just looks very bullish. We're seeing kind of like a couple of green candles here right after this green doge, and it's just heading right back to the upside. And I would think that we retest like 317 pretty easily over the next couple of days. But definitely watch out, because if it breaks that, it could run up pretty good. And you can see in the past, whenever FedEx starts to run, it can really start to go for like a week straight. In the past, it's had sometimes where it's just went straight up for like months at a time. So just be very wary. It might do that again.
All right, and then we have B saying, good morning, guys. What could be going on with X? It's up 5% this morning, so now it's up 6.5%, but yeah, it's really running up. Intraday, it looks great. I know yesterday it had a lot of unusual options activity to the upside, or not yesterday, a couple days ago, 2 days ago, and then I'm also seeing news about Algoma Steel gets SPAC deal, so I don't know if that has anything to do with this stock, but overall it's running up very well. Let me look into the SPAC news, but Tom, if you want to give some technicals or something like that.
Yeah, I went ahead and drew a perfect trend line on this stock, and it's really been following along this trend for the past few months. And like I know that Mike's been talking about this in a few videos as well, is that this stock's really stair stepping up, where we see a nice little stair step to the downside, a huge rise up, another consolidation back down, another rise, and another consolidation. It just keeps bouncing off of this line at the same time. And I know we've gotten a few questions about it on this pullback here from $30. And we were I remember Mike saying that he was kind of expecting it to do another stair step type of deal like we've been seeing. And it kind of did that. It held this trend line, did a little stair step deal and starting to go back up now, and kind of expect it, maybe to come back up and retest $30 as it's touching this trend line. Always be careful because anything could happen. But over the next couple of days, I would not be surprised if U.S. Steel tried to come back up and retest $30. And I think a lot of the reason will be steel prices and just everything with the steel sector and the infrastructure bill and everything like that.
Alrighty, so yeah, I mean so X is not in the SPAC; it's just a different play, but they're just like running in sympathy. But it's just been in an overall uptrend, which is good to see. Then we have Bravo saying, "I know it's random. What do you guys look at beaten down stocks, including DISCA, BABA, and QS? Are these good buy for a bounce back?" Let's check it out. QS, I would never invest in. They have no revenue. I would definitely not invest in them. Just my personal opinion. BABA, I would consider investing in them. I was looking at selling puts on them right now, but I'm just going to see what they do for a little bit longer. And then DISCA, this one isn't bad at all, actually. I would actually consider picking this one up for a bounce
Didn't
back.
they just get bought out by somebody or have a really big deal with AT&T or something like that?
I think that was someone else.
Oh no, it is. It is this one.
Oh,
Yeah, they had a deal with with AT&T, it says apparently.
you know what?
Here, hold on. I have it up on the screen right now.
Okay, cool. Huh, yeah, I mean, it sounds like good news, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a bad pickup. It's right at that support at $30. I might even sell some puts on it, like maybe even for this week.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, I would think maybe that could be the way to go. I mean, it might recover back up, especially like if they had a deal or something like that. That's always a good thing for a company. And I don't know what happened to this company. I'm gonna have to look into this, but I don't know why they tanked off so hard.
Well, Tom, they were a part of that Archegos thing, remember? With like,
oh, they were.
Yes. So like even when VIAC tanked off, DISCA was also a part of that. So when that margin call happened, that Archegos Capital, they had to, sell off a ton of DISCA, but also DISCA. And then also, I believe, it was the ticker symbol GSX, but they changed their ticker. So it was a couple different stocks that really suffered from that margin call.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. That's too bad Discovery was thrown in there. But yeah, hopefully they can start to pop off of $30 and go back up because yeah, they've been really beaten down. And I think the selling puts would not be terrible right now at these levels. And that's also a pretty good support in the past. So just definitely watch out for it.
All right, and then we have Bravo saying, I think the Dow will be the best way because we are reopening America. A lot of Dow stocks are already beaten down. Yeah, I mean, they are. I mean, Home Depot and, Apple, Microsoft, and some of the other ones are closer to their highest, but I definitely know what you mean, like with some of these stocks that didn't even really recover yet. So, we'll see as we get closer to the end of the year. Oh, here we go, Hunter. So Hunter said that GSX is now GOTU. So thank you for sharing that. So yeah, you can see now it just kind of tanked on, what is this date? On like March 25th, you can say. Yeah, it just like tanked down really bad. So
that's terrible looking.
Yeah, it was brutal. Then we have Swift saying, what is going on with AMC? Tom, what's going on?
Yeah, well, let's go check it out intraday. Go recheck back in. Looks like it's still having a green day, on the daily, but we can see it's still down negative 1.6%, 1.5% right now. I think it's trying to come back. Yeah, we can see intraday. It's trying to come back, kind of held that 1850 level and just had a lot of chop, man. I mean, it just went up and down, very volatile for about 20 minutes here. And now it's starting to finally fly back up. Man, watch for it to go because if it starts to run and it breaks 20, I think it'll be a great trade. Looks like it's trying to come back up today. I think that there's still going to be a lot of people watching this. I'm definitely not surprised that it fell down a little bit this morning. If we go look at the 180-day 4-hour chart, you can see that this stock has pretty much went straight up from this low of like right around $12. So pretty much straight up. I'm not surprised to see it have a little bit of downwards movement at all. And now it's recovering right back. So overall, it still shows a lot of strength to me. And I think if we can break 20 still, it would still be a great day trade. But we're just going to have to see how it bounces off of that. Because if it bounces there and ends up not breaking, then obviously it might be a fake out or we'll have to see what goes on.
Tom, you got to check out Beyond. This thing is still going.
It's still going 142.30. Wow, it's still we're approaching that resistance around 144. It looks like. Let's go check out the daily. Yeah, this is it's just exploding. Yeah, it has to. I would think there has to be a resistance soon. I'm seeing one around 144, but with this type of momentum, I mean, who knows? This makes me a little sad, honestly, that I didn't that we didn't take those positions down there around 106. But man, this thing really exploded. No one would have ever expected this type of move out of Beyond. But wow, this is huge. And I know we've been talking about it on the live streams for the past few days, and it's just proven to be one of those really, really strong recoveries. And I don't know what to think though. Right now, personally, intraday, it looks like it's a little overextended to me, but it could always keep going. But I can't ever call the top, but I would kind of expect it to come back down eventually.
All right, and then we have Bravo saying FDX is up because it's sponsor for the Soccer European Champions League today. It's the finals today. We expect sponsor stocks to pop up like that. DraftKings will pop up too because of NBA Finals coming up. How is DraftKings doing? I know it had a pretty good week so far. It looks like it's just kind of like lingering right around that $49 area, which is good. It's much better than it just tanking off like all the other growth stocks for the past month, but that's good to see. We have Hunter saying OKTA. Let's check it out. OKTA, it is, wow, it is getting smacked down around 11.5% today. Looks like bad earnings. On the daily, it just tanked. Wow.
Yeah, those earnings were bad. It even posted lower highs on the daily a little while ago around that $290 area. And yeah, it's just tanking off. This stock honestly looks like it's just in a very bearish pattern now. It looks like it's going to keep trying to break these lows. There is a really big support around $200. If it breaks that, I think it'll be super bearish, but we're still like 18 points away from there. It could be a good play, maybe down to that $200 support if you wanted to grab some puts for maybe a continuation play or something, but it's definitely going to be volatile with those earnings coming out. And you can see it's like trying to pop back up right now, which intraday, it's probably going to pop back up a little bit. And then I would expect it to maybe keep tanking off on those terrible earnings.
All right, and then we have Vicky asking about Ford. So Ford has been doing very well lately, and they are having an amazing day today, up over 5%. They're at their high of day right now. This looks great. The one thing I am a little worried about, though, if you're playing this for the short term, we can see over like the past month, it went from like $11.30 all the way up to $14.65. So I think it looks good right now for the long term, and I love how they are adapting, with these EVs and all that stuff. But for like a short-term trade, it does look a little bit overextended.
Yeah, Ford has been one of the big stocks to trade lately. It definitely is getting into that overextended territory, though. And we can see, in the past here, like let's just say right at the beginning of the year, like right on January 5th, you can see it started this uptrend back to the upside, and it started to get a little overextended, kind of like where we're getting right now. And whenever it got overextended, it started to consolidate back down and then ended up going up, a few weeks later. And I would not be surprised if we saw that happen again here. And also Ford is going to have to cut some production in June. So keep that in mind, because that's going to be a pretty big deal. I think whenever they have to cut this production, it's going to really cause them to lose out on profits from their F-150 and their Bronco. But right now they're flying up on EV news. They're going to have 40% of their production be all electric vehicles by like 2030. So that's a pretty bold statement, but at the same time, that's only 40%, but that is 9 years away. And that's going to be a huge integration into society. I mean, if they're expecting 40% of that, imagine how many more electric vehicles we're going to be seeing on the road. Like we're probably going to be seeing 30% more electric vehicles on the road than we're seeing now.
Awesome stuff. And then we have B saying, what could be going on with Twitter? Was that an uptrend the whole week until today? Yeah, I think that it's just that resistance right at that gap fill area. We've been talking about it a good amount during the week, but if we look at Twitter, that resistance is right at that like $58 area, and it tried to break above it yesterday, but it could not hold above it. So, to me, this looks like kind of like normal consolidation around resistance. We'll probably see a break above the resistance of like 58.61 probably sometime within the next week or so, as long as the market stays strong. But if they do break above that resistance, their next level is until, what is that? Is until $59.28, and then after that, it's not till like $60. So it definitely has potential, and it is a gap fill setup.
Yeah, I love this setup actually. I like we've been seeing though, like we're even seeing DraftKings and a lot of these stocks that were covered up a lot the past couple of weeks kind of consolidate just for like 1 or 2 days. So just watch for it. It could easily still break this to the upside over the next few days. But like I've said earlier this morning, just definitely don't be surprised if it consolidates for just a couple of days because we've pretty much went straight up off of these bottom supports.
For sure. And then what do we have? We have Bravo saying people are hitting sell Okta market order. Wow, yeah, it's getting smacked right now, down around 11%. Bravo saying, can you guys look at PGR, Expedia, PK, and Rick? So PGR we'll take a look at first. It's not really doing anything. Let me look at the daily real quick. It's not bad. It's actually not bad for like selling puts right now. I mean, I actually might consider this one. I like how it dipped down lately. It looks pretty good in my opinion. Let me look at their max weekly. Their max weekly looks pretty good too. On the max weekly, they look like they can pull back a little bit more, but on the daily, they look like they're at a pretty good level right now. Tom, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Progressive. This is the insurance company, and I think it'll be pretty good for the long term. Of course, I would say selling puts on it would definitely be one of the main ways to go if you could get enough pricing on the option. But man, on the max daily chart, it looks like it's starting to pull back here over the. It's been pulling back over the past couple of weeks, and just watch out for it. It might start to pop back to the upside, like Mike said, and if it does that, it might be a pretty good opportunity. But it could keep going down. We'll have to see how it reacts along this $100 resistance. I think that's going to be a pretty big level. Let's go look at the 1 minute, and we can see we got to like 99.20 this morning and just started to sell off. So we'll have to see if this sell off today will continue or if we'll kind of hold and maybe come back up and retest $100.
For sure. And then we also have to cover Expedia, EXPE. They look like they've just been consolidating for like the past like 4 months or so. They're not really doing anything right now. I mean, I would expect them to do better with like people like starting to travel more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, I mean, it's not bad actually. Like I'll actually keep this one on my watch list for like the next couple months. But we have a lot of people talking about AMC. We have Matt saying AMC shooting looking like a strong push. Oh wow, this came out of nowhere. Shelby, thoughts on AMC? Jesse, there goes AMC. There we go. Broke $20. This thing is really running. Tom, you got to fill us in. What are the next levels? We actually just broke above a huge resistance level, which was the previous daily high from January. But like, what levels are next? What's like the next resistance? What should we watch out for?
Yeah, definitely watch for the next resistances right around, let's see, $23. It looks like that on the 1 hour chart back in the past on January 25th, it just exploded up in pre-market or somewhere right around January 25th, exploded up in pre-market, looks like the 27th, and came all the way up to 25.80. And then the next day, which is, let's see, January 28th, came all the way up to $23. Definitely watch out for $23. That's the next posted resistance that I can see. There's not a whole lot of actual data to look at between there. It could go up and down a lot in between there. Who knows? But definitely look out for $23. And then after that, 25.80 or 25, somewhere around those all-time highs, or at least the all-time highs of the past year. And I think that that's going to be the main levels to look at there is 23 and like somewhere around 25. But yeah, it's really running right now intraday. I really like it. The 1 minute, it's starting to pull back a little bit right now, which is it's going to have some up and down movement, but it's really exploding. And I would kind of expect it to keep going right now. We're seeing a little bit of a red candle on the 1 minute, but hopefully as this chart progresses throughout the day, we can really watch, AMC start to really gap up along with GME, because whenever this stock runs, it really likes to run. And hopefully it doesn't just break $20 and only run up to 20.60. I'd like to see a pretty good move out of it.
Tom, I know a lot of people are loving this AMC push, but you know who isn't? Hunter.
Oh, Hunter, no.
Remember, Tom, with the oil?
Oh, yeah, Hunter, that's right. I see now it's checking his vegetable oil inventory. Let's get it $100 on AMC. I want it videotaped, Hunter. We'll put it on YouTube. It would be awesome.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's funny. So yeah, AMC is really popping up. I'm just curious what some of these options look like. Whenever we see crazy run-ups, like I always like to look at like some of these weekly options, just because. So like the 17 strike call AMC that expires May 28th. So this week, right? The 17 strike call for AMC on, what was this? On Monday? Yeah, on Monday, this thing was worth like $20 each. And right now it costs $380 each. So that's crazy. There's a ton of hype in this stock, and it's really popping up. And I know a lot of people have been waiting on this one for a retest, you could say, of highs. And I think it's awesome that we're finally retesting. And the short is being squeezed. The shorts are being squeezed, I should say. But this is crazy, and I'm just curious, like how much more it goes up. Like no one knows the top, but there's so much hype in it right now, and tons of volume coming in. I know, like I was even looking at Google Trends, and like AMC is being searched so much right now. And there's just, there's a lot of things going for it.
Yeah, I think the Tendy Man is giving a lot of people some money today, Mike. This is the Tendy Man's been very nice to everybody lately with GME, AMC, all these growth stocks going back up. I mean, man, everything's been really exploding. I'm really happy to see this going on. But like I said, I'd like to see it go a little bit higher. I don't want to see it hit 2060 and start consolidating, man. I mean, I want to see a big move up to 25 or something.
I know, it's crazy. And then we have Matt saying, CRM had earnings. Any potential? I see it trying to push. Let's check it out. So it's holding its ground really well. I know it fell off a little bit in pre-market, but it's holding that 227 level really well. Let me check out the daily real quick. Yeah, so the daily doesn't look bad. It's definitely holding its ground. Tom, what do you think? Because they have a huge resistance right at 230, and it got rejected really hard off that level.
Yeah, it did. I mean, the daily looks a lot better than the intraday chart, that's for sure. Intraday, it definitely got rejected off 230. I would kind of expect it to keep going lower, if not today, maybe over the next couple of days, or at least for it to just consolidate. But I would say if you're going to get into a quick call trade, or you're just going to swing it for a week or something, I would try to make it break back above 230 before getting in. But honestly, if we go look at that daily, you can see how defined that 230 level is. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it maybe come back down and start to retest maybe 220 before we started to go back up again. But overall, I mean, the stock's been recovering up nicely, and it could still break this 230 level to the upside, but I think that we're just going to see a lot of consolidation first. And I wouldn't necessarily get puts with it, just because it could always start to recover back up pretty quickly. And I just have a feeling that it's going to be going up a lot more over the next year than down, just given how much it's been going down since since COVID and stuff like that happened. And it's just one of those situations where I would think it will recover eventually, but how long and how much is it going to consolidate is the question.
Gotcha. Tom, one stock that's not going down without a fight is Roblox. Like every time I look at this intraday, like, it'll pull back, and then the next day it'll just rocket up right again. So it's up around 3% today. It's been exploding lately. It's not breaking its high from yesterday, but if it keeps moving the way it is right now, it definitely will.
Yeah, man, this is insane. And I actually looked up some videos last night of people playing Roblox. I had to, because I was so curious. And yeah, it looked like a pretty crazy game. I hadn't played it in like 12 years or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely a weird game. And definitely look out though, because the stock is looking pretty good. There is some intraday resistances here around 93.50, then $94. So watch out for that as we recover up today. But it looks like right now it's at a pretty good level.
All right, and then we have Vicky saying, there goes Peloton. What are some levels to look at? So Peloton had a pretty crazy day so far. They tanked off right at open, and they came right back up. They have a huge support at 107. And then I would say a pretty strong resistance right around 111. Watch those two levels. It's not really doing anything right now. Overall, I'm a fan of this company for like the next couple months or so, and even for like a long-term hold. They had a great bounce off support at $80, but like I said, I'd really watch out for 111 as resistance, and then 107 for support. And then we have, we have Bravo and Matt saying X is ripping. Let's check it out. X is, wow, that's exploding. 7.5%. Oh, yeah, it's popping up. It's really close to its high a day, and there's a ton of volume coming in.
Yeah, these steel companies have been insane, man, just flying up. I think the price of steel has a huge factor to do with why these companies are obviously doing so well. But yeah, definitely look for this one to go up. I see a resistance around maybe 27.30. And if we break that, then all the way up to $30. But man, it looks really good. It's holding this blue trend line like we talked about earlier. And it's just really rocketing. I mean, we can go to that 1 minute chart and just see how much it's really going up today. Looks like we might start to see some consolidation, but yeah, up around 7%. That's just an insane move out of some of these stocks. And man, like if we go look at X on the daily on the 1 year, I mean, it had lows of $6.58 earlier this year. Now we're sitting around, $26, $30. So huge recovery out of this stock. And if we go look at the max weekly, you can see how volatile X has been over the past few years, especially in '08, taking a humongous hit during that financial crisis.
Big time. So let us know what stocks you guys are watching. And Tom and I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button on the stream. It helps us out so much, and it only takes 10 seconds for you guys to hit it. So thank you guys so much for joining. Let's see. We have Jesse saying your money Tesla option 635 call alert from yesterday's video appears to be bullish. It definitely does. So one thing to keep in mind is that Tesla, it's still a little bit out of the money, like Tesla right now is only at 625. So the option, the 635 strike is still $10 out of the money, but it's running up nicely right now. And we all know how Tesla is, how volatile. So it's definitely not bad. We have Long saying UAL, please. So let's check it out. UAL, I've been watching these airlines every single day, especially American Airlines. UAL is pretty good. They're holding their ground. I really like airlines and cruise lines right now for the next probably 4 to 5 weeks or so. Thank you so much, Swift, for hitting that like button. Then we have Bravo saying, do you guys expect some end of the month portfolio rebalancing coming up tomorrow? I hear end of month usually has some rebalancing and increased volatility. Yeah, I would say so. I think Bravo, I think we've been kind of seeing a rebalancing happening for the past 2 weeks. You look at some of these tech stocks compared to some of these beaten down growth stocks, and a perfect example I have would be Zoom and DraftKings. DraftKings has been beaten down horribly over the past couple months, but we saw an amazing recovery this past week, and even the week before that, it's just kind of stagnant. Even if you look at Zoom, we're seeing more buyers come into it. So I definitely think we will see some more rebalancing, but I think that we've already been seeing it for a little bit now. And, DraftKings and Zoom aren't the only ones. We also have NIO. Peloton is a perfect example. And you could even look at Beyond if you wanted to, but I think that we will definitely see some more rebalancing. We have Shelby saying Airbnb is doing great today. It's about time. This thing has been taking forever to move. It's just been bouncing back and forth for the past couple days now. I'm glad it's finally starting to move up. It's great to see. Yeah, it's having a great day though, up around 3%.
Yeah, this stock's awesome. It's going to be awesome, I think, or even better whenever the summer starts rolling around, and it's already getting pretty warm outside. But as we start to really get into those summer months, I have a good feeling that Airbnb will start to pop, especially once travel is allowed to resume in the fashion that it can be. And once the economy fully reopens, I think Airbnb will just be they will recover up very, very nicely. And I'm not saying they'll explode all the way back up to 220, but I could see a pretty safe play, maybe back up to $160 from 140 where we are now. And it's pretty nice. They're not over recovered yet. We're seeing Enphase, Peloton, some of the others, Zoom, really recover back up, and DraftKings even recovering up nicely. But Airbnb has been kind of consolidating really flat, like Mike said, just around this somewhere between 130 and 140 for the past couple of weeks, and it's still not breaking out above 140 yet. So definitely look for it. If it starts to break out, I think it's going to be a pretty good move up to 160, and I think that it might be one of those plays Mike, what was that play earlier in the video that we've been looking at for the past few days?
Beyond, was it?
Yeah, Beyond. Yeah, I think it might be one of those situations like Beyond. It almost looks like the same exact setup. It was trying to break out and then finally just started exploding back to the upside. And I have a good feeling that Airbnb, it might not explode like Beyond did, but I definitely think it could definitely continue for the next few days. There's a lot of I think there's a lot of indicators here showing, it's bouncing off support. It's been consolidating. All the other growth stocks are going up. The economy is reopening. I just think there's a lot of good factors here for Airbnb.
All right, and then Tom, what's going on with AMC? We have to recheck in on this one. It is exploding up still. It just broke its high of day like a minute ago. It's really popping up. A lot of volume coming in. Just look at that volume chart. Like it's just more and more and more. And then that IV is skyrocketing, which shows a lot of people are bidding up options, and the expected move every single minute is becoming larger and larger. So this is crazy, and we're seeing a lot of movement out of growth stocks, out of AMC, out of stocks that haven't really moved like beyond. But then we look at some of these powerhouses like Apple, and it's not really doing anything like Hunter suggested. And it's up around 0.2% today, but Apple has been stagnant, for like the past, what is this, since December. And even if you want to be really specific, it hasn't moved at all since the first week of May. So in Bravo, I think this kind of comes into the rebalancing we've been talking about. I think we're seeing people selling out of some stocks like Apple, some of these bigger tech stocks, and shifting into stocks like DraftKings, Zoom, Neo, maybe even Palantir, maybe even beyond. I think that we're definitely already seeing the rebalancing. But yeah, AMC is crazy. Tom, last time in January, everyone was talking about GameStop, mainly, right? But now it seems like everyone's talking about AMC. So how about we check back in on GameStop? Honestly, I've only checked them out probably 10 times this week. But, compared to AMC, that's nothing. But, it's popping up, but it is nowhere near, the relative level where AMC is. You look at AMC, and they broke their high from January. While with GameStop, they're still a good amount off from their all-time, or not their all-time high, but their high back in January.
Yeah, and I think that might be to do with a lot of the people that were trading GameStop before might have just gotten fed up with it. They might have gotten fed up with GameStop's movement, and then they went to AMC, or maybe GameStop left a sour taste in their mouth or something. Who knows? But I think that AMC is definitely getting more attention right now, and there's definitely a lot more hype around there, and that's a pretty interesting thing to look at. Actually, I haven't really looked at that too much, but GameStop looks like it's still recovering up nicely, even though it's not going up relative to AMC, I should say. And if we look at the 15-minute chart, it's finally breaking above that high of yesterday, around $250, or I should say the high was around $249. And if we break above 250 today, I think it'll be a pretty good move. But yeah, AMC and GME are just straight up exploding. I would just expect, AMC to keep going up a lot more, though. I think that there's a lot more hype around it right now. And I just think that, especially with the chatter I'm seeing on the internet, on Wall Street Bets and everything like that, everyone just has their eyes on AMC a lot more. And I don't know if that's because maybe they like the movie theaters better, or they like the fundamentals better, or like I said, if GME just left a sour taste in their mouth from a previous trade, or who knows. But either way, AMC is getting way more hype than GameStop. And I think that just even looking at technical setups and stuff, AMC broke out of this wedge nicely and started going up, and GameStop just is kind of consolidating on support and on this little trend line. It hasn't really been moving in the same exact way, I would say.
All right, and then we have Palantir popping up too. They're holding their ground pretty well. What do you think about this one? Because I know that they've been getting beaten down a lot over the past couple months, but they held that $18 support so well, and they're just kind of inching up day by day. What do you think of them?
Yeah, I actually like it. On a daily level, I'm getting a little worried. They're getting close to some resistances here. I think that there's a pretty good resistance around 2230, maybe 2250, and that's right around where we hit today. I will say it looks pretty decent though for a good recovery play over the next couple of years. I think that shares of Palantir are awesome. I wish people would have grabbed it lower down here around $20 if they really wanted it, but it's still not terrible here at 22. They had highs of 45. So if it goes up, it could still go up another 100% pretty easily, if it recovers like it should. And Palantir, Zoom, and all the others are just down here at support, but Palantir specifically intraday is having a lot of problems here around this 22, 26 level. Looks like it might break it later in the day, but definitely watch for it because it's having a lot of problems there, and it might fail to break that level later on.
Well, I think it shows a lot of strength how, they kind of sold off at open, but they came right back up. And in my opinion, that shows a lot of strength. Sellers came in heavy and hard at market open, but, the buyers came right back up and drove the stock back up. So I think that's a good sign. And then we have VIAC running up intraday right now, looking to break their high of day, which is awesome. Then we have, let's see. We have Bravo saying KOSS. Let's check it out. KOSS. KOSS is popping up a little bit right now. I don't know. They look decent. They've just been consolidating for so long. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the daily chart too much. I think that there's a lot of growth potential with it, and it could make a lot of money, obviously, if it flies up. But it's one of those crazy looking charts. It's had huge moves in the past, and who knows where it's going to go now. It'll probably keep going to the upside. I have no idea, but either way, this is going to be a very risky play. Even if it keeps going and you end up winning on it, it's going to be very risky. And if we look at that daily, like I said, you can see like how much consolidation it's had really over the past few months, just sitting right along $20. And maybe that's a good sign. Maybe it'll start to fly back up over the next couple months or something, but it's just a very scary play in my opinion. And I think there's a lot of better setups like we're seeing with Palantir, Zoom, DraftKings, some of the others. But intraday, this one doesn't look terrible intraday. It's just the daily chart looks pretty bad. So just if you're trading it, I think it's good for like quick day trades and stuff, but I don't think I'd personally swing it.
All right, and then we have Swift saying, I think Apple is going to go up in September because of new iPhones. Fast and Furious coming out too, June 24th, I think. AMC to the moon. He said Fast and Furious. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind is I would encourage you to look back throughout history to see like what Apple historically does when they release new iPhones, and just check in and see like how they've done historically. That can give you an idea of whether or not that could be a good trade. But yeah, AMC. Let's do a triple check, Tom. We've been looking at this one all morning. AMC. So it looks like it's pulling back a little bit, but I'm not really freaking out about it because it's exploding overall.
Yeah, it's exploding. Don't be surprised if it has consolidation like this for a little bit. Let's just keep in mind that in a couple hours it might be at $25 in a couple hours. So nobody knows where this one's going to really go later on, but very good moves here. I will say it is starting to consolidate, like Mike said, posted a little bit lower highs on the 1 minute and it's starting to come down, but I would still, in my mind, I still see this one up later on today. I think that this is just some consolidation and we'll just have to see how it ends up moving, but overall great moves. I can't believe it's up another 9 to 10% already, and this is just insane.
Big time. And then we have Muscle saying, in my opinion, AMC is too risky and too many head fakes. Stay with growth companies. Ride NVIDIA into split. Great videos, guys. So thank you so much. Everything that you've been doing to support the channel, Muscle. And I know you've been long on NVIDIA for some time now, and I'm glad that's paying off for you. They're such a powerhouse company. They have that split too, and you look at Tesla and Apple and see what they did with their splits a couple months ago, and they just rallied up. So I think NVIDIA is an awesome company for the long term. But yeah, AMC, it is risky. I know, it's just awesome to look at, some of the movement it has. And, we are in some pretty crazy times with these short squeezes. And then we have Bravo saying, I'd stay with value. It's safer in my opinion. Yeah, it's definitely safer. I know a lot of people love that, like the urge or like the, what do you call it? Like when you see AMC up like, 15%. And, if you have a call option, that thing can go from, like I said, $20 to $300, like that like gambling urge or whatever. So, thank you guys so much for sharing that. NVIDIA looks pretty solid. AMC's pulling back a little bit. But let us know what stocks you guys are watching. Tom and I will cover them this morning. What do we have going on with BABA, Tom?
Yeah, BABA, let's go check it out. This was actually the free day trade I called out this morning in the Discord channel. And if BABA breaks above 215, I think it could start to really run up. But at open, it really started to tank off and just consolidate. But we are seeing it kind of recover back up here on the 1 minute chart. It hit right off of support and off of this 1,000 SMA, which is normally a pretty good sign. So hopefully BABA can keep going up and break back above 215. I think it would be a pretty good trade. If we look at BABA on the 1 year daily, I don't know what's been going on. I mean, this is terrible. I know that they've had a lot of problems with the government of China. They had to pay some fines to China. China's been like really looking into them and investigating them pretty hard lately too. I don't know why they keep going down in the super short term, but in the longer run, I would expect BABA to start to recover back up. But it's just been very unfortunate with the China news and everything that we've been seeing going on with BABA. But I would think that in the longer term, it could bounce off this support maybe around 210, 211 maybe, and start to go back up. But it fell below that very slightly for like 2 days and then came right back above it. So we're just sitting right on that support. I don't know what to think. I think that there's a lot of other safer stocks out there that will be better than BABA, but just because it's a China stock, and we can see that sometimes this China news just really affects a company in a negative way. And it's unfortunate with BABA because they were honestly doing pretty good, considered almost like a version of like an Amazon almost. And it's just a very unfortunate thing to see them really tanking off like this. But at the same time, a lot of people also say that Baba's kind of like a third party website, or they don't sell like a lot of quality products. I know in the United States, they're not really known for they're definitely not known for their quality. That's for sure.
I think the chart looks pretty good, especially on a daily. And then Tom, check out Coin. Coinbase is popping up. They're bouncing off that 240 support very well. It's definitely on my watch list. And then we have Corbin saying, I took losses on DraftKings. Still bullish on Mara as long as Bitcoin is in an uptrend. Boeing and X today. Wow and beyond. Looking at Tesla, but I'm not playing it. And then we have I'm Fierce saying, Tom, where was that called out? I did not see it. Awesome call out. So, Tom, I think he's talking about the Baba play, I believe, and that should be in the Discord.
Yeah, and it's in the Discord, and it actually didn't work out yet. I have it breaking above 215 later on, so I'm actually not even going to enter the position till it breaks 215 to the upside.
Yeah, so it is in the Discord chat under the day trading tab. It's under like the general tab. So, you have like discussion, profits, and then day trading. So it's in that tab. And Tom just posted it this morning. And we have James and Raphael joining in saying, good morning, AMC and SPCE to the moon. I know we've been talking about this one a lot this morning. They're really popping up. But Tom, we haven't really been talking about SPCE too much. It's been AMC has been stealing everything's spotlight.
Yeah, it has. And SPCE had that successful test flight that I know a lot of people were talking about like last week, but it definitely got overtaken by AMC now. And it's still going up though. SPCE on the daily looks actually pretty good. It's been gapping back to the upside. We are going to be approaching some big resistances, especially right around $30 over the next couple of days. We're at like 28.30, 28.40 now. So really watch out. We're getting pretty close to $30. I think that's definitely going to be a big resistance. But man, SPC had that good test flight, and I would expect them to maybe keep going up off of that news. Whenever they run, they like to really run. I'm not sure they're going to go up to $50 or $60 again, but in the short term, I think $30 could be a pretty safe attainable target, maybe 30 or 31, but I see a pretty big resistance at 30. So personally, if I was going to set a target anywhere, I'd put it somewhere around $30. But intraday, huge moves again out of SPCE. Let's go check out AMC. Yeah, AMC is moving up too right now, finally breaking $22 again. And it finally broke out of that little, it almost looked like it was in a little flag setup there, Mike, and finally exploded up, going all the way up to 22.17 now. So I wonder how high we can get today. Let me know in the chat, guys. What do you think we can get to? 23, 25, 28, 100? Who knows? I mean, this thing could really start to run.
Yeah, Hunter's like praying it's not 100.
Yeah.
Every uptick AMC has, Hunter gets just like more nervous. But yeah, like I'm actually very curious, guys. Like, what are some of your price targets on AMC for whether it be next week or like, next month or by the end of the year? Like, I'm just curious, like, what you guys are thinking. Like, do some of you think it's going to hit 30 or 50 or 100? I've been seeing some crazy comments saying that AMC is going to hit 100,000, which I don't know about that one, because I think Hunter said that would be like, if AMC hit 100,000, that would equal like half of the global GDP. So I don't know about that one, but let us know your price targets. And then we have Muscle saying, agree with your advice on travel, leisure, UAL, CCL, etc. Watching these closely. Easing off real estate, adding to Enphase, Ethereum, and Apple. Thanks, Mike and Tom. Best channel for traders and for learning. Well, thank you so much for that awesome comment, Muscle. Yeah, so that's awesome. We have Vicky asking about pins, Pins. Let's check it out. Pins is doing pretty good today. It's holding its ground. I know that over the past couple days it has these huge wicks to the downside, but I think it looks pretty good right now.
Yeah, it looks pretty decent. It's just kind of consolidating, I think, with some of those stocks that have been recovering. Let's go look at the 5-day, 15-minute. It's really running up intraday. I think it's looking pretty strong. You know, like we saw, Mike, a lot of stocks kind of fell off at open, and it seems like the stronger ones are kind of recovering back up now. And definitely look for it. There is some chop around 64 to 64.50, so be a little careful around there. But overall, the setup is still looking pretty bullish to me. I definitely would not be grabbing any puts right now. That's for sure.
Indeed. And then let's see. Hunter goes, pretty soon I won't need vegetable oil. Sweat will take care of it. Oh my gosh. Wow. What else do we have moving? We have Riot popping up, Tom. Did you see that?
Yeah, Riot. Let's go check it out. Yeah, wow, up another 6%. I know it was up a little earlier, right around open, but yeah, that one ended up falling off too, and now it's coming back up 29.60, looking pretty good. I wonder how Bitcoin futures are looking. Let's go check out slash BTC, and looks like Bitcoin's even recovering up pretty nicely. You know, coming back up to around like above 40,000. It looks like now.
Alrighty, and let's see. So we have Zoom with the amazing reversal. They tanked off at open, and they're coming right back up, which is awesome to see. I'm a huge fan of this company and stock. We have Moderna on the high scanner. Let's see, mRNA. It is popping up, breaking right above like 178.30. Looks good. 178.30. Yeah, looks pretty good. The daily looks pretty good too. Yeah, guys, let us know what stocks you're watching. How about we check in with Beyond again, Tom? I know that we were covering it a lot this morning, and it looks like it is pulling back a little bit, but it's not really tanking. Like, yes, it's pulling back, but it's still up like 11.5% on the day.
Yeah, this one was really nuts. Honestly, like we talked about, I would not be surprised if it just consolidated for just a little while because of how much it honestly went up. Like we're still up 11%, and we even came down 5 points. So it's been a crazy couple days to say the least for Beyond. Very crazy gap ups here. Honestly, maybe expect it to. I would not expect it to break the high of day again today, just given the movement that we're seeing. But overall, huge moves out of it, and I think that definitely watch it over the next week because it might start to either one come back down or pop back up above these highs. And I think that if it pops above the highs, it'll be another good opportunity, possibly for another gap back to the upside. But like I said earlier, I mean, we're looking at a couple of stocks that are kind of in a similar setup to Beyond right now. And I think that some of those could be, you know, pretty good for the longer run, maybe like A, B, and B. It looks like they're kind of still down there at those lows. So maybe that could be a pretty good play over the next couple of days. It might be like it's just like a setup almost similarly to Beyond. So maybe expect some movement out of Airbnb too.
All right, and then we have Bravo saying, can you guys look at the levels of SPCE? Is it a short squeeze above 30? So, Tom, check out the levels. I'm going to check out the short interest real quick. So, yeah, Tom, let us know.
Yeah, for sure. $30 seems like a pretty good resistance. Like I said earlier, I think that's going to pose as a huge level, especially because it's a very key level. It's solid. It's $30. It's just it's one of those psychological levels in people's minds. And I really like it. $30. It's hit off of it a few times in the past. I'm not sure there would be a short squeeze if it broke 30. I just think it's more of just hype right now, especially with what's going on with all the test flight news and everything like that. I don't know the short float, Mike. Did you get it yet?
Yeah, so let me pull it up. The short float is around 23% on SPCE. And while this is big, it's not crazy like we saw with GameStop, which was over 100% back in January. But there's definitely potential for a short squeeze. But, you know, it's just not to the magnitude of some of these other meme stocks. But, yeah, it's definitely on my radar, and there's definitely potential. Honestly, it's not my favorite play in the world. I really like Zoom better. but I think it looks decent overall. And then we have Queen saying DoorDash is going crazy too. I didn't even look at this one, Tom. Let's check it out. DoorDash, DASH is popping. Wow, it is popping up around 5, almost 6% actually. So looks pretty good. The daily looks like it's rebounding pretty well too, right off that like 140 level.
Yeah, this is really recovering up nicely. And I guess people are ordering more food on their phone or something. I don't know, but a really good recovery out of the stock. The earnings aren't terrible. I mean, they had a negative 0.34 EPS, and a few months ago, they had a negative 2.67. So shows that their EPS is getting a little bit better. And I would expect that as the economy reopens, DoorDash should do pretty good. I'm not sure if COVID actually helped DoorDash or not, but overall, pretty good setup here. I think it's been going kind of low since IPO. You know, it hit lows of 110 just a few weeks ago, and now we're at like 150. So it has recovered pretty well. But I think that over the next like few months, it'll start to recover back up with some of those other setups. And it's just, I think, one of those plays that whenever the economy reopens, this stock will do a lot better.
All right, and then we have Justin saying, can you guys just do 24/7 live stream of stocks? That'd be awesome. Thanks, guys. You two rock, and thanks for all the hard work you do. Well, thank you so much for that awesome comment, Justin. Thank you so much for always commenting on the YouTube videos. It helps us so much, and thank you so much for everyone who liked this stream. It really helped us out. Thank you guys so much for that. We have more people talking about AMC and then Bravo with Jivo. But, Tom, one more time. Let's check out AMC. This will be the last time.
Yeah, AMC all the way up to 23.22. Still ended up going up even more from whenever we saw it a few minutes ago. It is starting to come down now intraday. Like we've been talking about, though, it has these big swings to the upside and the downside as it goes up. I would not be surprised. I think that my target throughout today is going to be $25. If we can hit 25, I think that would be a pretty good level for it to hit off of. If we go back to this 180-day 4-hour chart, we can see 25 in the past was right around that high. Let's see, 25 to 25.80, I should say, right around that high. And honestly, 25.80, but I think 25 might be a big level in people's minds. And I think that even if you're watching it, it might be moving so fast that if you're going to set an alert, maybe set the alert at 25 so that whenever it passes it and rockets up to, 25.50 or whatever, then you'll be able to see that move before it comes back.
All right, Tom. Well, any last minute stocks, anything you're looking at before we end the stream? I know AMC is going crazy. Anything last minute, whether it be Beyond or anything?
Yeah, I'm not looking at AMC right now, but I'm looking at AMD. And I think AMD's recovered pretty nicely up today. I'm still looking at it on the daily chart. It's been still bouncing off this support, just kind of consolidating here in the middle of the range for the past like 4 or 5 days. And I think that this is going to have to move out of this eventually, one way or the other. And we're just going to have to see which way. But personally, just given that it's AMD and there's such a great company, I would have to think it would be to the upside. But if the overall tech market starts to go down, then I'd be bearish on it. But honestly, intraday today, really looking forward to maybe pop back up and break above 78.60. But that would be a pretty big move. But who knows? It could happen if the overall tech market starts to fly. But definitely watching for AMD to pop above 78.60 over the next couple of days. And then also, just keep in mind, we do have some inflation data coming out tomorrow morning that could also affect the market. So be a little wary. I think tomorrow might be a pretty big day. People are going to definitely be talking about inflation a little bit, whether that's going to hurt the market or help the market. Maybe the inflation won't be as bad as people were expecting. So we'll just have to see what the numbers look like tomorrow.
All right, so last minute questions. We have Raphael saying, why is GameStop lagging behind? It seems like all of the hype is just focused on AMC. Bravo with an awesome comment. Thank you so much for that. And we have Muscle saying, advice on INO, been holding, but seriously considering dumping it all. Thought it was like Moderna and Pfizer. So, yeah, this stock has been taking a beating. It has a really strong resistance at $8 and then a pretty strong support at $6. It's definitely not my favorite setup. It definitely looks pretty scary, but thank you guys so much for joining today's stream. Tom and I really appreciate all the support, and thank you so much to everyone who hit that like button. And we